Om Apyayantu mamangani Vak pranaschakshu Shrutramathu Balamendriyani cha sarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarut Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam mestu Tadatmani nirate ya Upanishadsu dharma Ste mai santu Om Shanti 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 Om. May all my limbs attain strength. May the body, the mind, all the sensory and motor organs and the life force behind them all be efficient and powerful. All is verily Brahman, the one without second, absolute, ever blissful, ever perfect, existence itself. Let me never deny Brahman. May Brahman never reject me either. I understand that experiencing Brahman depends on acquiring many virtues which are spoken of by the scriptures. May all those virtues be with me. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Let us try to feel this all-pervading, one without second, existence itself, the Brahman. It is in a way very simple to experience the truth. That is by going beyond our identification with forms. It is the different forms that create distinctions. This and that. So as one goes beyond what we erroneously consider as I am, a form, a body, which is just a limitation, just an instrument which one uses. I am not this instrument called body, just as I am not a pen that I use. So this identification is to be removed because it is a big error, and this terrible error causes us to suffer, just as it is good to use pen, but it is wrong to get identified with it. So let us feel this truth that I am not this changing heap of flesh, blood, and all such things. I am beyond the body and also beyond the mind. And thus I can see this very simple, straightforward truth that I am all pervading. Thus I have no desires, for I am all that exists. Thus I have no suffering either. I have become bliss itself. Let us concentrate on this truth for some time. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, let us begin with our opening chant, because otherwise soon somebody will announce, you didn't do the opening chant. So before that person gets that opportunity, let us chant our regular opening chant. Since you have been chanting it for years, this is the class number 210th. So you should be able to now recite it without even looking at this screen. Because it is, this is 210th class. So you can recite it loudly with me. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditarat Schaर्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् Tene brahmhridaya adikavaye Muhyanti surayah tejo varimridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Just a secondary thing to tell that this verse is composed in a very popular meter called Shardul Vikridit. It is like the play of Shardul, which is a creature, a lion-like animal, which is carved, painted on many temples in India. Shardul. Sometimes people just translate it as lion. Maybe it is true. So how this lion will play? So Vikridita. So, and it has, as you know, very nice tune to it, and that is why it is so popular. So many verses, so many hymns are composed in this this Shardul Vikridit meter. So, one of these is this. So, and this, let us read the translation. That from whom creation, sustenance and dissolution of the universe take place, who is both the instrumental and material cause of it, who is omniscient, is the only one having self-mastery, being one independent entity, who illumined the mind of Brahma with Vedic revelations, whose wisdom is the wonder of even the greatest sages, in whom the world of the three gunas subsists, just as the combination of materials like fire, water and earth subsist in their causes without changing their elemental nature, in whose consciousness there is nothing false. On that truth supreme we meditate. So today we are beginning a new chapter, as you might have noticed in the that slide, first slide there, that it is chapter 6, and it is the story of a Mandhata, a great king, and very famous in the Indian lore, Mandhata. Rama was born in his lineage. So, and then Saubhari is another one. Their stories are rather strange, how they were born. So we shall see, last time we concluded the great tale of King Ambarisha. Ambarisha, through his tremendous, that superhuman devotion and the tremendous compassion and forgiveness that he exhibited, it is a great lesson for everyone to see how we can practice that, this steadfast devotion to the Lord. And with that steadfast devotion, one is not afraid of anything, because always the reliance is on God, that God is everything. Ambarisha's devotion was so supreme, and one is thus protected by that. We think that something else will protect us. Our money will protect us, our family members will protect us, but it is the God who alone has the capacity to protect us. It is given in the Bhakti aphorisms of Narada, that what a devotee does. Anyashrayanam tyago. The devotion should be ananya, means not a divided days like that, but a one pointed devotion. And then what it means is described that anyashrayanam tyago means you don't take refuge in some other things like this thing will save me, that money will save me, or some such things. No, God alone can save us. This is very nice, I told that incident to you, that one Swami in our annual celebrations at one place, he was giving a discourse, and there was a nice canopy erected for that, and everything was going on in a smooth way. But the weather can change any moment. So a big storm started. The clouds gathered. It didn't take them for 4-5 minutes to gather. The whole sky was filled with dark clouds, and very strong wind started blowing, and the canopy started shaking. Ooh. And about 700-800 people there, they got panicked. Somebody was announcing that don't get panicked, this tent has that both sides, all sides are open, so the winds will just flow, nothing will happen to the tent, don't get panicked. But when there is panic sets in, nobody is in a mood to listen. So everybody rushed to 2 buildings by the side of that tent. And the Swami sat there without moving or without showing any perturbance. And that storm lasted barely for 5 minutes. And things got stabilized. The storm did not cause rain. The winds actually blew away the dark clouds. So, very strong winds. I was there. And then many asked after the Swami resumed where he had stopped, he resumed his discourse, but people had questions. So they said, we were all scared and ran away. Were you not scared of the storm? Were you not scared of the storm? And the Swami replied, yes, I too was scared. Like you were scared, I too was scared. And I did exactly the same thing that you did. What did you do? You ran to a place which you thought to be the safe place. I also did the same thing. I went into God. I started meditating on God, which in my understanding is the safest place. So a devotee considers taking shelter with God as the safest thing. Therefore, whatever may be the problem, and howsoever God protects, they surrender to that. This is an important characteristic. So we saw that in Ambarish, and then we come to the lineage of Ambarish. This is what we had discussed before also. This is the scripture called Purana, where the stories are woven, which has some history associated with it, some history, some understanding of cosmology, geography, and mainly the stories are told to cultivate devotion. But as a part of the storytelling, you want to know then what happened later. That is the part of the when people are listening to stories, they always have this thought, whether expressed or suppressed. Okay, but what happened later? It is the King Ambarish, but then afterwards, what happened to that kingdom? Or what was the Ambarish successors, his progeny, and so forth. What next? I remembered as children, we used to sit around our grandmother. Mm. And then for that, keep on urging her to tell stories after the evening supper. That used to be the time for that. And the grandmother used to oblige normally, but sometimes if she is tired and she didn't remember a story, then she would tell something small and forget. But we wanted a long story. Because we always, okay, then what happened next? She would tell up to a point, and we would ask, what happened next? Because that curiosity is awakened. That is how this story continues. Any, say, Lord of the Rings, a big volume. Always what propels the reader to go through all that description, because we are curious. The readers are curious. Okay, this, okay, but then what happened? Then what happened? Do you see the idea behind the Puranas is like this, that kind of storytelling. That this, then what next? So this question is always there. So we told you must tell a long story. And we used to like her story so much. And if the story is finished in 5 minutes, we would feel sad. So tell a long story. And grandmother that day was in a somewhat punishing mood. So she said, how long do you want the story? How long? And then one of us children said, oh, never-ending story. A story that never ends. So long it has to be, that which never ends. And then grandmother started telling the story that it is, there was a warehouse, a granary was kept, maybe a stylo-like granary was there, and then it had a hole. So one small bird came and took a grain, went away. And then another, this bird came, took a grain and flew. Another, this bird came and flew. She kept on repeating. Somehow we tolerated for 3-4 minutes. Oh, but what happened next? What happened? The grandmother said, there are so many birds and such huge stockpile of grain. So it will take long time. So she said, another bird came, took a grain, flew away. And thus we got so tired. Told the grandmother, enough. Now suppose we understood that all grains have been eaten by all those infinitely many thousands of birds. Now what next? So grandmother by the time had understood and then said, the next part will be told tomorrow. So it is like this Ambarish, what happened to his progeny? So that is a very interesting story. So there was one after another, one of the grandsons of Ambarisha. He had passed away by then, and that is his name was Rathitara. This Rathitara's son, Rathitara, is known in Vedas. But this is Rathitara, and what happened? This is a very this is also a job of Puranas to indicate the social customs of that time. And when Bhagavatam was being written, this custom was very much in vogue, existence. It used to be done. Nowadays, that is not considered right. But that was a socially accepted custom then, that if if there is a married couple, then you expect a child to be born. Now, in most cases that happens, but in some cases, either due to some difficulty with the wife or with the husband, the child is not getting born. So, if the child is not getting born, and if it turns out that it is the fault of the husband, then the woman, the wife, is supposed to go. Then the wife could, without any social stigma, go to someone else for that purpose, usually a brother of the husband or some close relation or a sage. Why a sage? Because if she goes to a sage, there won't be much conflict, because the sage is unmarried. If other man, then if that fellow has wives, they will object to this, hey, you get out. So, therefore, sage. So she went to Angirasa. So his wife got sons from the sage Angirasa, and then the qualities, the genetic transmission endows the progeny with the characteristics of parents. So the custom in this case is the children, they still remain children of the husband, though not biologically the husband is father anymore. The husband is not biological father, but the children remain that as the father is this man, the husband, they belong to him. So that is the custom. It is called Kshetrajna Santati. Kshetrajna. Kshetraja, sorry, not Kshetrajna. Kshetraja, born out of a Kshetra. But by, it is called Niyog, with Niyog method. That it is that like you give your farm. You have many people do that. They don't have time for farming. They don't have the skill or strength either. So they give their piece of land to somebody else to do the farming in it. So somebody else does the farming, but that person is paid something, but still the produce belongs to the owner. So it is like that. That lady and the husband, though he is not the biological father, they the children belong to them. So this was an accepted idea. You see this happening in Mahabharata, like the story of Vichitravirya, uh, who had three wives, but Vichitravirya was not uh, actually able to produce any child. So those wives went first to Bhishma. Bhishma said that, oh no, I am man of continence, I have taken vows, I won't do that. Then they went to the sage Vyasa. So through Vyasa they had the progeny. So the stories abound in Mahabharata, wonderful story that one was Pandu, then another was Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was born blind. Why? Because this Vyasa to whom they went, he was an ascetic with a very, not a very nice looking form. So, seeing that the lady, the mother of Dhritarashtra, closed her eyes, and thus now what connection, I'm not expert in that, but therefore the Dhritarashtra, the child was born blind because the mother had closed her eyes tight. So thus Dhritarashtra was born blind. And then this other one, Pandu, the wife, that lady got so scared, afraid of this sage. And so the Pandu became having some physical problems. He was full of valor and all that, very good at warfares, but was not capable of producing a child. And so his wife therefore got children from the various deities. His two wives, Kunti and Madri, they were therefore called Kaunteyas also. Pandavas, but three of them were Kaunteyas and two were Madreyas. They Nakul and Sahadev, they were born out of this Madri, but by the same method, what is called Niyoga, that somebody else, in this case it was different deities. So, like earlier also, uh, the progeny belonged to Vichitravirya, although he was not the biological father of these three sons. But whosoever was father like Vyasa, he didn't claim anything. So here Angirasa was, he came forward to help out his wife. So some children were born, and so one of them and they had both the Brahmanic qualities and Kshatriya qualities, because this Rathitara was Kshatriya, and the one Angirasa had Brahman qualities. So both natures were put in there. Then the story here ends. Another process of birth was shown. It is. I am not sure that if the science agrees with such things, but it doesn't matter, After all, science understands very small part, that how they know only one way of uh, children being produced, the common normal way of man and woman coming together, and thus a child is born. But there are so many different ways without actually involving man and woman, like chemically making somebody. That Drona was made like that. Drona, again in Mahabharata, that story is there. That Drona, he was born in a cup. Drona means a cup. So therefore he was called Drona, and then because he was teacher to this royal family, he was called Dronacharya. So it is, he was born in a cup. So that was probably the first known example of test tube baby, you see. So that is how it was. So it is told here that this Ikshvaku was born from the nose of the Vaivasvata Manu. It is, this is the Vaivasvata Manu's time that is being described. So Vaivasvata Manu sneezed, and from the nose of that Vaivasvata Manu, Ikshvaku was born. And then this Ikshvaku had 100 sons. So, one of them was Vikukshi. He was asked by his father, I am fast forwarding things, to go to forest and get the flesh of many animals which was worthy of offering in a sacrifice he was doing. So this Ikshvaku's son went to forest, then killed many animals. So, and those what mistake or what folly he committed was, while running, chasing so many animals in the forest, after killing them, he became very tired. And after becoming so tired, then he ate, tired and hungry. So he ate one of those animals and then brought the rest to where the sacrifice was going on. And the priest immediately recognized they had the power and declared that it is, officiating priest found out that a part of the flesh is already consumed, and so the flesh, thus being defiled, is unfit for sacrifice. That is therefore the rule in worship, we know that something that is already taken, a part of it is taken in or eaten, that is not allowed to be offered to God. It is not, one cannot offer it in worship or in sacrifices. That is the rule for this. So, it is, and Sri Ramakrishna could not partake anything if a part of it was eaten by somebody else before. So that is the reason behind this, that it is then not part of worship. And then naturally this Vikukshi was expelled from the kingdom by Ikshvaku for this transgression. Ikshvaku then took advice from the sage Vasishtha and took to practice of yoga and attained to the Supreme Self. He got disgusted with all this. What does these sacrifices give? Nothing tangible, lot of pain, and a lot of worldly things you collect out of it. How are they? They are perishable. They are not worth having any merit in them. So, knowing thus, he went to sage Vasishtha to practice the yoga and gave up his body in yoga. So that is how he passed away in yoga. Then again the question, what next? So the story proceeds that his son was, that one of the children in that lineage was Indravaha, a famous son of Vikukshi. He got the name as he used Indra as a mount to battle on the side of the Devas against Asuras. Let me read that interesting part. There was a very destructive war between the Asuras and the Devas. Being defeated, the Devas sought heroic Indravaha's help as their ally. As directed by the all-powerful Mahavishnu, the Lord of all lords and the soul of all beings, Indra converted himself into a huge bull and became the mount for King Indravaha. Vaha means a vehicle. Indra became the vehicle for whom? So that king got the name Indravaha. Because Indra became his Vahana or the vehicle. So Vahana is a vehicle. So Indravaha, the Indra whose vehicle was Indra. So it is. So he mounted on that and equipped with armor and excellent bow and arrows and extolled by all the celestials, he sat on the hump of that Indra bull, ready for the battle, and with all these powers with him, he easily defeated all the demons who then ran hither thither, and the Devas, they got back and their kingdom. So thus he became very famous, and he then also got, because he won all this territory for gods, he got the name Puranjaya. Puranjaya was his another name. So then there are some other stories. Now we will see how this Mandhata was born. It's again a strange story. I told you the incident that one of our members in Nagpur, he was a professor and avid reader of many books, but he said, I want to read Mahabharata completely, original. So he took from our library, took one volume, and then came after few days and described what he read. He every now and then he would come to renew the book because it was a 1,000-page volume. So he could not finish in the allocated 2 weeks of time. That was maximum a book is allowed out. Then you have to reissue it. So he told, oh, this Mahabharata, I don't see anybody being born as a normal human being gets born. Somebody is born in cup, somebody gets born in some other way, and somebody is born out of certain boons. I don't understand any of these things. I said, that is why you have to properly read it and see that there is a different level of reality. So now this Mandhata, how was he born? In the same lineage was born one Yuvanashva. So Yuvanashva, who was childless. So, being childless, he went to forest with his 100 wives and met some powerful priest who agreed to make a special sacrifice for getting the children born. They used to do that often. That is how Rama and his brothers were born out of this kind of a special sacrifice. So, and this sacrifice produces some special liquid water that is to be taken in by the queens, the wives of that king. So then they get the progeny. And that is how the method was. So what happened was that this sacrifice began, it was going on. Now the king came to that place when the sacrifice was over, and the priests were, because they were very tired, they slept. It is described at night that king entered the sacrificial hall in a very thirsty condition. He found all the sacrificial priests sleeping. So he had nobody to ask to, so he himself took some water which happened to have been consecrated by mantras. Those mantras, they have, that water had become very special then. And then king drank that. Now, having drank that, the priest, the king didn't know what that water was. He thought he is thirsty, this looks like a water, and so drank it. When the priest woke up, and it is O king, and on awakening, these priests, O king, this is addressed to Parikshit by Shuka. This narration, just again and again this is mentioned so that we connect to the original tale, that this is discussion between the sage Shuka and King Parikshit, who was on the deathbed. So, O king, on awakening, those priests, finding the water pot empty, exclaimed, "Oh, who has done this? Someone has drunk the consecrated water that has the power of producing progeny." Learning that it was done by the king, prompted as it were by the Lord, the priest bowed down to him and declared, "It is only the divine will that prevails. Man's efforts count for little." This is again a lesson that is repeated here. things happen by the wish of God. It is not that man's efforts, they contribute a very little, but it all happens through divine wish. So everything, as Sri Ramakrishna used to say, and not even a leaf of a tree moves, shakes without the wish of God. Everything, one has to be conscious of that, that our every breath is produced by the wish of God. God takes care of all this. It is not that it is how can God take care of the such an infinitely varied universe where to pay attention. No, God pays attention to all. It is the power of God that one need not worry about it. It is, and thus we surrender to that being who takes care of everything. So the priest said, now it has happened, cannot be changed, cannot be changed. That which is happened, this is another great lesson that we have to derive. That in some students gathering, I was talking and then just asked them the question that what doesn't change? Everything in the world is changing, and one student gave the answer, that which has already happened cannot be changed. That's a good answer too. That which has happened now, that has happened. So the wise people therefore won't worry about it, will not pay the idea that let me change what happened. This comes to our mind again and again, that let me change what happened previously. We try to, our mind keeps on going after this very useless exercise, recreating the past. It cannot be recreated, only you keep on thinking about it. It is. So, this has happened. So now nothing can be changed about it. So, what happened then? It is strange. It is the king got pregnant. The king got, what does it mean? I don't know. But the description here is very funny. That it is the king, Yuvanashva, became pregnant. And when the time came for delivery, the right side of his abdomen burst, bringing forth a child who was given to be an emperor, who later grew to be an emperor. This child was crying aloud to be suckled. How shall we feed him? So exclaimed all those priests, because of this, whose sacrifice the fellow was, little one was born out of the womb of king. Now, although there were 100 wives, none of them had any milk. So now how to feed this child? The sages were worried. So the celestial being Indra, celestial, that controller of all gods, he said, okay, don't worry. And then he gave this little one to put his thumb in the mouth of this, and then got milk from that. So it is, therefore you see, the little children put their thumbs in the mouth. It is the Indra's thumb that fed milk to this, and that is why he got the name Mandhata. Mandhata. So it is, it is said here, dear baby, do not cry, drink of me, Mam Dhata. So it became Mam means have milk from me. That is what Indra said to him, Mam Dhata. It became with conjunction Mandhata. So there are the rules of grammar that when ma becomes na and so forth. So it is, and gave it his thumb to suck, which yielded Amrita, the immortal drink. The child therefore came to be known as Mandhata. The father of the king, Yuvanashva, in spite of his abdomen being rent, providentially survived. He continued to observe austere practices in that forest until his end. So, this is the conclusion of this incident of Mandhata. Now, the story of how Mandhata grew and what he did will continue. We shall see that in our next Friday's class. Here, the conclusion given by Shuka. Dear Parikshit, as even powerful enemies like Ravana trembled with the fear before him, Indra gave Mandhata the title Trisadasyu, the terror of evil ones. So, Trisadasyu, it is terror for the evil ones. That is how the Mandhata became. So he became, by virtue of the power bestowed on him by the god Achyuta, became the famous emperor Mandhata, holding sway over all the 7 continents of the earth. So, though he had, that is why he is famous, he had the highest self-knowledge. So he was the king who governed the whole earth. It is, but he had this self-knowledge. So we shall see about him, and then this story of, which is again a very strange story of Saubhari. So that will come up in our next Friday's class, if God wishes so. So we shall conclude with the closing chant, and after that, in case if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Nigamakkalpatarurgalitam phalam शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः. O devotees, quaff to intoxication this nectar of the fruit of the tree of Vedas, flowing from the mouth of the great sage Shuka and mixed with the ambrosia from his words. The word Shuka has a pun there. Shuka means this great sage, and another meaning of the Shuka is the bird, that parrot. So, whose talks imitates the talk of others nicely, and it is given as I don't know, I have never verified this, but the fruit that is pecked by this bird, parrot, Shuka, is sweeter than the other fruits of the same type. So that is why this analogy is told here, flowing from the mouth of the great sage Shuka and mixed with the ambrosia from his words. So, any questions, friends? There is no question here. Is there any question upstairs? Not likely, isn't it? Yeah, because it was all funny stories today. So, so let us conclude with the closing chant. मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल। हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल।